discussing about single crystal silicon manufacturing process. So till date, what we have discussed that how you get a raw material of quartzite, and after that you convert it into your metallurgical grade silicon, then followed by electronic grade silicon. The problem with your silicon, electronic grade silicon, is that it is nine, amorphous in nature. That means it does not have proper crystal geometry orientation. So why we need a particular crystal orientation? Whereas when we actually go for manufacturing of IC on this wafer, then particular geometry is being favored, 100 or something like that. So because of that geometry, what happens? Your crystal is amorphous in nature. So what we want your crystal to be in a particular orientation. So in this class, we will be discussing about two different processes by which we can obtain your crystal of particular orientation. So first process is called CZ process or Czochralski crystal growth process. Second is float zone refining process. So both of them are having their advantages and disadvantages. We will be discussing about them one by one. So first I will be going towards CZ process. So what is CZ process? We are coming to that. So two main techniques of converting polycrystalline electronic grade silicon into a single crystal ingot, which are used to obtain a single silicon wafers. So next is the first technique, CZ technique or Czochralski technique. This is the dominant technique for manufacturing single crystals. It is especially suited for the large wafers that are currently used in the IC fabrication. Large wafers means wafer is a silicon piece like this. So you are having chips wafer. So this is similar to that silicon wafer, and its your diameter is corresponding to 300 millimeters all these days. So this is the size of the wafer, 300 millimeter. So a rod-like structure called ingot is being generated, and then it is being cut into pieces, small pieces called wafers. So this is being done in Czochralski technique, where a crystal is being grown in the form of ingot. Second is float zone technique. So it is not possible that we always grow big crystals. We all sometimes need a small crystal, so that can be done with using float zone technique. So it is being used to produce specialty wafers that have low oxygen impurity concentration. So it is requirement in some of the cases, but most preferably commercially being used is CZ process. So I will be discussing them one by one in detail so that you get a better understanding about this process. So when you talk about Czochralski crystal growth technique, then in that various components are involved. You need a furnace to melt your amorphous silicon, and then crystal pulling mechanism. Crystal is being generated, it is being pulled up. Then ambient control, that means we need a particular constitution of air so that air cannot react with your molten silicon. So that is the other requirement. Also we need a control system to control the things that is happening inside the chamber. So this is the basic apparatus for Czochralski crystal growth technique. So this is the schematic diagram for Czochralski technique, which is being used to grow the single crystal. So I will be discussing each and every bit of this apparatus, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me at any time. So this is your RF coils, radio frequency coils. What is the purpose of that? It is being used to heat this thing. Now what you're putting inside that, you're putting your amorphous silicon. So amorphous silicon, that means no silicon geometry is there, and we are putting it into this. So this is being heated up. Then this is boron trioxide cap. So it avoids anything to react. Then you are putting a particular atmospheric pressure here. So this is a crucible. This thing is called crucible. So graphite subsector, that means in this everything is being created. So it is a cross section of this. So in that, what actually happens, then you are having a silica crucible inside this. So why we are using such things? The reason for that is we are using molten silicon. So graphite and this helps to retain this molten silica inside that. Then this fused silica crucible helps that this does not react with graphite. So there are two motions involved. It rotates in clockwise direction. It rotates in counterclockwise direction. So what is the advantage of that? I will let you know in the coming moments. So here you can see this is getting rotated in this direction like this. This is the crucible and being rotated here, and this is the direction of the crystal. So crystal is being rotated in this direction. Now how the entire thing happens, that is a very important thing, and mm, that need to be understood. So what happens in this side inside this, so that this structure is being created. So initially what we have a single crystal here. This is called seed crystal. This is called seed crystal. This thing, green thing, is called seed crystal. So this crystal is of a particular geometry. Suppose you want your crystal to be of 100 geometry, then what will happen? You will have a crystal, a seed of this particular thing. Now you put this seed inside this. Now this is being discovered by a Russian scientist. He get the idea that when he is putting his pen into the coffee and pulling the pen, what happens? Coffee also tries to come with the pen. But that is the case. Coffee is having a high surface tension and all, but not the case with silicon. So when silicon seed crystal is being there, this one, and it is being pulled up, then immediately from this line, when it is being pulled out from this line, it immediately solidifies. So at that moment, what happens? This is moving in this direction, and this is moving in this direction. So this gives us a cylindrical structure. So uh, this moves in this also, it is being pulled in this direction. As we know, the strength of silicon is very on the higher side. So this small seed crystal can support a very heavy ingot. So this is being, I will also show you the video in this regard so that you get the idea what is happening. So till now what I have discussed, that this is a susceptor, this is your crucible. So inside that, these are RF coils, you are heating this to get it into liquid melt. Then you're putting the seed here. So seed is being pulled up. So immediately when your seed comes out of this, it solidifies, and this rotate in this direction, it rotates in this direction. So this gives a spherical, cylindrical size to this. So this is being completely being pulled up, and this keeps on moving in this direction, and you will get a Zok-Rulewski technique, and a crystal is being grown. So this is the entire process how your crystal is being grown. So when you talk about your crystal and talk about ingot, the ingot which is being generated is like this, and this is the top where your seed is there. This is the top where seed is there, and you pulling it up, and you can find out some lines here. So it is being pulled up from the system, and you're getting your ingots like this. So they are of different sizes: 100 millimeter, 150 millimeter, 200 millimeter dia, 300 millimeter dia. And when you cut them, you will get wafers like that. And on these wafers, you will create small sectors. And these small sectors, this small portion, this is actually your IC. On this, you are having actually your IC being fabricated. So this is how your ingot is being created. So if you have any doubt in this, you can ask right now. Otherwise, I will be proceeding ahead. So this is the entire process, that how from your amorphous silicon EGS you are getting a silicon ingot. And these are the various components which are there. Now there are certain conditions which are there and need to be fulfilled so that your CZ technique does not give you any problem. So I will be discussing them in the coming slides. So here you can see CZ process. So when you talk about CZ process, that initial material is electronic grade silicon, which is melted in the furnace. So this is your furnace. In this, you are putting your EGS and you are getting it melted. Then to minimize contamination, the crucible is made of SiO2 or silicon nitride. Yes, this is what we have done. Your crucible, that means fused silica crucible, so that it does not react with. Otherwise, if you're putting crucible of other material, there are chances that molten silicon EGS, because this is very pure, it can react with your crucible. So to get rid of that, to avoid any sort of this, what we can do, we get it fixed like this. So the drawback is that at high temperature, the inner liner of the crucible also starts melting, has to replace periodically. So when you keep heating on this, after using it for several times, it get melted. So this lining is to be created after certain usage, because this lining gets depleted after repeated use. So this need to be replaced after certain usage. The temperature is 1500 degrees Celsius and silicon melt temperature is 1412. Then we talk about a small seed crystal with the desired orientation of the final wafer. That means if you want it to be 100 orientation, then the seed should be of that particular size. Then this we have already discussed, that seed crystal is also rotated and pulled simultaneously so that you get uniform surface across the ingot. These are certain points, that your polysilicon EGS, the temperature is 1430 degrees. Rotate crucible, crucible is being rotated. Then bring counter rotating seed crystal to melt. Then we slowly draw seed from the melt in the upward direction. Your ingot is being moved into the upward direction. Here you can see this is being moved in the upward direction. Initially this seed is being dipped and it is being pulled up, and also it is being rotated in this direction as well as in this direction. So you're getting ingot being formed in this direction. Then immediately when you pulled it up, so it freezes. So there is a feedback system that controls this process. Similarly, there is another ambient gas control system. And why this feedback is needed? Because if at any time there is certain problem, that immediately it can be rectified. And we are putting this in some inert gas so that silicon at that temperature does not react with your gas. So we are putting this thing in inert gas. So after going through all these processes, you are getting a final solidified silicon crystal called ingot. So this is called ingot. And after ingot, what happens? This is being grinded so that this upper surface becomes smooth, and then further this is being cut into slices. So these slices are called wafers. So this is being used for IC fabrication. So the conventional size which are being used these days is 300 millimeter. Also these are being used in the previous cases, but these days this is being extensively used. So what is the process after that? We will be discussing them in the coming classes, that how you will get these wafers from this ingot. But this is all about CZ process, that how you can get a single crystal of a particular geometry from your amorphous silicon. Now the next technique that is of importance is float zone technique. So let's discuss some important points related to your float zone technique. So in your float zone technique, what happens? It produces small wafers. Small wafers means 100 mm and all. So again, what happens? In this, we have a polycrystalline rod. So rod is being created preemptively, and later on, this rod is being converted to your seed crystal. Then in this, what happens? This is actually the thing. So here you can see this is your seed holder, and this is your RF heating coil. So it heats it up. So your entire rod is being passed through this, and it is being rotated in the opposite direction, in this direction as well as in this direction. So when you actually heat it up, it get melted. But as you are putting a seed crystal here, so it resumes to a particular geometry using this. So this is being rotated, as well as this entire thing is moved from here to here. So in this process, your silicon crystal of particular orientation is being generated. So suppose this is your heating furnace. So here this is your seed crystal, and on the top of that you are putting silicon rod here. So what happens? You insert it here and just put it here in this direction. So it is being rotated in this direction as well as in this direction. So it is being melted up. And the good thing about this is it immediately melts and immediately solidifies. So that means once it's is melted, and that it orient itself to a particular orientation. So orientation is being selected based on your requirement, that what requirement you are having, whether you want 100 Miller indices or you want 110 Miller indices. So it depends upon your requirement. And why we need this? Because certain processes, oxidation and etching, is being favored by this particular Miller indices. So that's why we are interested in a particular thing. Now, heat with moving radio frequency coil. So this moving coil is actually heating coil is movable. So it moves in this direction. So heating it up and then solidifies. So when it solidifies, so it is being oriented to a particular orientation. So this does not have any orientation. That is why polysilicon. But here it is your single crystal silicon. So that means after melting, it solidifies to a particular crystal orientation. So melts near the coil, moves melt from crystal to and then back. So this is also being done, that RF coil starts from fused region containing the seed and travels up. So it moves, starts from here and it moves in this direction. So also three kinds of movements are there. One is counterclockwise, another is clockwise, and another is in this direction. So these three directions gives you a particular orientation, and also this provides you a particular geometry. So when the molten region solidifies, it has the same orientation as the seed. So seed, we know that what kind of orientation you want. So here also the furnace is filled with inert gas like argon to reduce gaseous impurities and leave silicon crystal rod behind. So this is the entire thing about your float zone technique and your CZ technique. So I hope you get a better understanding of the topics, and if you have any doubt, you can discuss. And in the coming classes, we will be discussing about your what are the processes that need to be followed after